I recently found out that a great bar in New York City, one that I really wanted to visit and now know we'll never get to visit, is closing. It's called Leyenda. It was a bar that was opened in 2015 by a really fantastic bartender named Ivy Mix. Ivy Mix not only is behind that bar program, she also opened a bottle shop. She also created Speed Rack with Lynette Marrero to help bolster up women in the industry. If you guys don't know, Speed Rack is a speed competition. Women bartenders go head to head. It's been taken seriously for a long time. Almost every single heavy hitter in the industry has done a Speed Rack. They're pretty awesome. And then, male bartenders can go in and bar back for them, which is, I know I have a lot of friends that do that as well. Leyenda is a, how do I describe it? Pan-Latin bar? Like a pan-Latin bar. It's like a Latin themed bar. So a few years ago, Ivy Mix wrote a book called Spirits of Latin America. That's something that she has been very passionate about for many, many years, has traveled in Latin America and wrote this fantastic book. And so the Leyenda was, I guess, the physical outgrowth of that book. A lot of the drinks are either Caribbean style or tiki style with Latin American spirits subbed in to the specs. Every drink that I've ever had from these guys have been a banger. So I thought today, why don't we do 3 different drinks from 3 different bartenders at Leyenda, pour one out for the homie, give them a nice send off. And even though the bar is no longer, well, it is actually, it's closing in March. So anybody that's in New York City right now, go to Leyenda, support them, drink all the drinks. But if you can't do that and you're stuck in LA like us, you can have some at home. The Leyenda Ranch Water was created by New York City bartender Leon Lefebvre, and this one calls for a 1/4 ounce of lime oleosaccharum. I adapted this a little bit because I wasn't quite Here's the thing about oleosaccharum. For those of you that don't know, oleosaccharum is a fancy Latin word for taking peels, throwing sugar on top of them and muddling them so the oil comes out and creates a slurry. According to the directions, it's 1 cup of peels, 3/4 cup of sugar, muddle, let sit for 24 hours, and then muddle occasionally. And then once all the sugar has dissolved, then you bottle it, right? But the thing is that unless I've been doing oleosaccharum wrong my entire career, oleosaccharum, like the oils from the peels of any fruit, isn't just going to completely liquefy sugar, even if you use castor sugar, which is the really fine baking sugar. Lemons might do it a little bit more. You might get a little more syrup out of lemons because there's more to them, but limes, no. So when I made the oleosaccharum, I let it sit for 24 hours. I did everything properly. I still just had a chunky, sugary kind of slurry. So what I decided to use for this drink is called a sherbet. So there's 2 different steps in punch making, okay? In punch making, you have the oleosaccharum and you have the sherbet. The oleosaccharum, I just described what that is. And then the sherbet is when you take the juice of the citrus that you've peeled and made oleosaccharum and put it back in. So in punch making, you make the oleosaccharum in a bowl, you juice all of the lemons or limes that you used or whatever, and then you throw that juice into the punch, and then you put your water, and then you put your booze, so that you have the sugar slurry. So it's basically a very limey, robust cordial, like a lime cordial. This actually also has sage in it too. We actually made a lime sage oleosaccharum. I'll put the directions for how to make that below, and then I just added in the juice. So I added in probably about 6 ounces of juice into that to make a sherbet. So we're gonna be using lime sage sherbet for this drink, okay? This is gonna be a very easy one. It's just a build in the glass drink. It's fantastic. Let's get it going. I'm actually gonna be using a smaller volume highball glass here. Grab a jigger, and then we're just gonna do 1/4 ounce of our lime sage sherbet. I hope that the sherbet and the Fino Sherry isn't gonna make it too tart. That is the only thing, because this actually does have lime juice, and obviously the Fino is what's giving it some tartness as well. So 3/4 ounce of Fino Sherry, 1.5 ounces of Blanco tequila. I'm using Tequila Ocho. If you want to do what Leyenda uses, it's called El Velo. I did not find it anywhere. We're gonna do my trick of effervescent sodas.
Oh, we should have looked at the Ramirez.
The Ramirez liquor?
Yeah.
For quoi?
For El Velo, whatever you call it.
El Velo? I did look for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What do you think I was doing in the tequila section?
I don't know.
Looking for El Velo. Take a little spoon. Just gonna give this a little mix. Just make sure everything's combined. Take a little club soda here, and I'm gonna pour a little bit just like straight in there, like so, before we add the ice. I'll be careful with ice here because it's a small glass. I like to have a little bit less dilution and a little bit more spirit so that we're not like overly diluting it. Add our ice in. Kind of a big ice container today. too big. Ooh, perfect. There we go. And then what we're gonna do is pour off the ice. We wanna just make sure that it doesn't like layer on top and that all the effervescence goes from the bottom of the glass to the top of the glass. The best way to do that is to pour in your soda just a little bit first. And then we garnish with a little sage, so, and just give it a little spritz of lime on top. And let's cut this into a, what do you think? I'm gonna cut it into. What do you think, buddy boy?
I think it's going to be the uninspired parallelogram.
That's right. Why uninspired though?
Because it's just like, meh.
Well, I think the parallelogram is the best when you're doing just like a twist like that, see? So good. It's like everything that you want in a ranch water. It's very limey, but it's got a little bit of sweetness, but it's got that punchy lime from the oleosaccharum. And then you have the Fino Sherry, which is sort of like an apple-y kind of nuttiness to it. And then you have the all of that tequila right up front. It's just like really punchy agave flavor. It is magnifique. You want it to be nice and refreshing, fantastic, wonderful. There it is, guys. Leyenda's ranch water. I didn't plan it this way, but we're doing another highball. The Hightail Out was created by bartender Ivy Mix, you know, for her own bar. Start with the bitters, all right? We're gonna do 2 dashes of mole bitters, which is roughly that much. One pull, the other pull, boom. It's like 2 dashes, I don't know, 40 drops or something, but 2 dashes, mole bitters. This is gonna be a fantastic one. Then we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of simple syrup, 1/2 ounce of lemon juice, 3/4 ounce of Don's Mix number 2. So this is a 2-to-1 ratio of red grapefruit juice, although technically it's actually originally supposed to be white, but you can't find white grapefruits anymore. It's like a specialty item these days apparently, so I use ruby red. And then it's a 2-to-1 ratio of grapefruit juice to cinnamon syrup. So we're doing 3/4 ounce.
Can you use like pomelo as like a more?
I guess you could. I see pomelos, but the thing is that it's hard to, like, pomelos are in season now, and so I can find them places, but when they're out of season, they're very difficult to find in LA. So it's like, sometimes you can use pomelo for like in between grapefruit, but like, apparently there was only one, like there's only one grower in Texas that's doing white grapefruit anymore because it's just not called for. Everyone likes ruby red. Ruby red is sort of taken over the market. So now, so all these growers just decided to stop. All of these growers decided to stop growing white grapefruit. It's like now kind of a specialty item, hard to find. All right, we're gonna do 1 ounce of Blanc Vermouth and then 1 ounce of rum. You know, it said white rum, and it's a Latin American spirited bar. You know what I should have used is Charanda. But I already poured the Saison, so we're just gonna use that, but I should have used Charanda. Boom. I'm getting really lazy with my ice cutting, and I've been cutting like really big ass pieces of ice. We're gonna go over this as many times as we need to go over this. This is a highball glass. When you have cocktails that have an effervescent soda in it, you wanna make sure that you pour your soda in about 1.5 ounces to begin with, because this is less dense than that. And since this has more density, if you shake this, put it in there, put ice in there, and then put the soda on top, the soda is gonna layer on top. So you wanna have a little bit down there to get the effervescence going in the cocktail. Damn, I'm like all out of. Okay. Well, let's rinse this off. I guess that happened. Give it a strain. Offset the volume with ice. Just make sure you get as much ice as you can possibly put in the glass in there, because you want to make sure that you have glass that spans the entire cocktail. There you go. Nice. We're gonna use a mint sprig.
Oh, you're not topping it with soda? Just that was enough.
I mean, it doesn't need a topper. If it needs one, then you can top it up, but I don't need to. I used a pretty large volume glass. I mean, that's probably 12 ounces, maybe a little more than 12 ounces, 14. So I don't want to put too much soda in there because you don't want to over dilute that fucker, do you? You know? Man, these fucking mints have not been great. Like the sprigs have not been great lately. It's nice and perky though. Look at that perky ass mint. Oh. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know. I'm at home. If I was in the bar, I'd have to throw that out, but it's just me and you guys. What the f happened to my, see these mint sprigs? Now I need another sprig. There, let's taste it. Oh my God, the Blanc Vermouth. Oh my God, that's so good. All right, let's talk about it. You get a lot of that Blanc Vermouth right up front. The Saison Pale is a combination of 3 different rums, Trinidad, Jamaica. It's very much like the Plantaray 3-star, AKA Plantation 3-star. You know, has those like kind of tropical notes to it, but it's not gonna like hit you over the head with it, but it's just kind of nice and smooth. And then the Blanc Vermouth is really prevalent in this cocktail. And then you have that cinnamon syrup, grapefruit combination, which is just so good, giving it a little bit of an island vibe, obviously lengthened with a little bit of soda water to make it nice and balanced, very flavorful, bright, a little effervescent, definitely crushable, kind of dangerous. You just don't feel the alcohol in here. But you know what? It's kind of lower, it's lower ABV anyway, because we subbed out one of the ounces that you would normally have be a high proof, I mean like have like a regular proof rum with Blanc Vermouth. So it's not super alcoholic either. I love it. This is a porch sipper. You could sip this all night. Last cocktail of the day. The Edsel is a Negroni Spagliato variation created by Shannon Ponce, or Punch. Anyway, she's a New York City bartender that worked at Leyenda and Clover Club. I'm assuming she made this drink at both. I don't know. But you know what I've realized about today's cocktails? All of them have been bangers, like bangable cocktails, okay? And then all of them have been really easy to put together. So you guys that don't like to have a very hard cocktail to put together, your guys are in luck today.
I mean, the one with the oleosaccharum stuff was kind of complicated.
Oh, there's a little, okay, making the oleosaccharum is not that complicated. It's a couple extra steps though,
yeah.
For sure. First thing we're gonna do is just I got 1 ounce of Ancho Reyes Regulario. Then we're gonna do 1 ounce of Oloroso Sherry. I like how much sherry is utilized in the Leyenda cocktails though. They really do a lot of sherry and I do like it. And then we're gonna do 1 ounce of Campari. We're just gonna stir this right in the glass, and I'm not even doing a big rock or anything. I'm just gonna make this real easy. Real easy. Fill that glass up with ice. Drop some ice on the ground. Fill it up, smack it up. You have like another smaller piece. You're gonna have to cut a smaller piece. It's kind of big, but we can make it fit. Barfly spoon.
Yeah. It's been a while since we used that one.
Actually, we don't want that much ice in here anyway, because we've got to put our Spagliato in the Negroni. Just stir it to chill. So typically I would want to put the effervescent soda in, like the effervescent, not soda in this case, but material, the effervescent liquid in here first. But for Spagliatos, I like it to layer on top for looks, and then you can give it a little stir when you drink it to incorporate. But for aesthetics, it's kind of nice to have it layer on top, because then you get like the clear to red sort of gradient in there. So I make rules and then I break my own rules. That's how that goes, depending on the, that's the thing I like about bartending though, and like cocktail creation, is that like, there are all these rules until you want to do things differently, and then you break the rules. But you have to learn the rules first before you then break them, because then you break them in a sensible way, if that makes sense.
That applies for everything, doesn't it?
I guess, yeah. Then we just do our Spagliato on top, like so. Yeah, let's mix it and taste it now that we've gotten all that we need for, ooh, I love a Negroni Spagliato. I'm very excited about this. I feel like it's gonna be nutty, a little bit spicy. You get that ancho, like ancho chili sort of flavor, and then the Campari adding that much needed bitterness. Oh, baby. Yep, I'm right about all those things. You have this little underlying spice with and you got the ancho chili flavor. It's nice and bitter from the Campari. A little of the effervescence and dryness from the champagne. And then on top of that, you get a little bit nuttiness, like a tart nuttiness from the Oloroso Sherry. It's a very inspired tableau of flavors. So there it is, guys, the Edsel. I'm going to find that other thing, and I'm gonna just top it up a little bit for the thumb. And we can photograph it. Yay. Okay, come on. Let's photograph this while the mint looks good. So there it is, guys. What is it called? The Edsel.